The brutal murder of Fenger High School student Darian Albert marked another violent end for a Chicago teen. During the 2008-2009 school year, Chicago became the #1 city in the country for youth homicides, with over 35 murders. How are people of faith responding to these tragedies? How can they make a difference? We welcome Reverend Mary FAIRLEY, a United Church of Christ pastor, a teacher at Horace Mann School, and a radio host on WBGX. We also welcome Jeremiah TILLMAN, a senior at Northwestern University and a member of Calvary Baptist Church in Chicago. What was your initial reaction to hearing about yet another teen death?
I was just devastated. I just could not believe that this happened again. I mean, it's over and over and over. When is it going to stop? When is something or someone going to do something to stop our children from killing each other?
I was surprised at first, and I was actually sitting with my friends, and they just blew it off. They were like, "Oh, this Fenger is to be expected." But I was kind of hurt by this because it was mob action this time. It wasn't like one-on-one killing, and which is also bad. But the mob action, just how you could take a wooden ply and just hit someone like that, it's a little unsettling for me.
And this has been going on for years now. I feel like we talk about it and talk about it. Do you still retain hope that things are going to change?
Well, I feel there's always hope. Being a pastor, of course, I guess you would expect that, but I have not given up. I have not given up on our children. I have not given up on our community. I have not given up on God. And I don't know the answers. I don't have all the answers, but I just know that, that if we don't take any action, nothing will change. If no one does anything, if we just sit and wrench our hands and cry and then, just keep on going with our life until the next time and then we're upset again, then of course not much is going to take place. But I'm hopeful that this killing, the one that has been demonstrated and shown across the country, even across the world because of the videotape, now that maybe someone would take a stand and would help to lead the church, the community, even parents, to do something about these kind of tragedies that are taking place in our community. Yeah.
The video does help make it real to people at a distance.
Yeah.
What's going on at your church with young people?
Well, at Calvary, we are doing a youth makeover. We just got a new youth pastor in Ben Chambers, and he's a younger guy. He's about 27 years old. And we are trying to really use not just word of mouth, but also technology to reach the students. We've adopted SMS, mass text messaging. We've adopted Facebook groups, YouTube groups, mass emails. We even try to show up at the schools when we can for prayer, the flagpole day of prayer. It's really trying to be a media blitz. Let them know that not only are we here and we're available for you, but we also have programming for you. If in case you're bored, you need something to do, we'll even pick you up. And so it's just right now we're in the process of just getting that message out there alone.
And what can the church do? What does the church have to offer these kids?
The thought came to me that would be great to maybe have something, the church could do something on Facebook or YouTube that could be an ongoing thing, even for those people that don't want to come into the church, to have some dialogue, to begin to even talk about that, maybe to have a blog on violence. And because I know that there are gang members, there are young people who have access to, the internet, who have phone. I mean, that was an issue that they had in CPS schools, that the gang members were able to text kids inside the school and emails and all that kind of. So maybe the church, maybe that would be part of the church's makeover we were talking about earlier, that could really reach out and maybe get some feeling about what these young people are thinking, and how we can help them.
Clearly there's violence, there's anger, there's hostility. Where is that coming from, if you have any ideas?
It comes from a lack of identity, honestly. We can say well, they don't have, that much opportunity, but I think it honestly comes from identity. If you don't have a background and heritage and who you came from, whose you are in Christ, and that backing to like push you forward, then you're going to have some problems, and you're going to have some fight back. You're going to have some resistance in you, and eventually that's where the violence is going to come from, because they feel as if any attack on them is an attack on their ego. And when they feel as if their ego was attacked, then they have to save face in front of everybody. When in reality, they're just attacking your ego because they want to see if you're going to fall, if it's really true that what you have. Is it real? Is it genuine? And that's basically what we need to do. Our first priority is to get these young men and young women to know their identity, not just in themselves, but also in Christ.
Yeah. I love that. I love that they don't know who they are.
And whose they are.
And whose they are.
There's been a lot of discussion about the parents of the kids that commit these crimes. What would you say to the parents of some of the kids who've been identified and arrested? To the parents,
I'm really at a loss. I'm just praying for them that this will be a wake-up call to other parents. Yeah. That we need to reel our kids in. You need to be home. When we were coming up, we had to be home from school at a certain time. And if you weren't there, then, and so maybe this would be a wake-up call for other parents as well. We need to really tighten up the reins here on our high school children, as well as those who are in elementary school, and to really, and of course we can't be with our kids all the time. We can't say what they won't or will do, but we need to instill in them some moral background, some moral structure, if you will, so that we can think about, when we see a fight and we're not running to the fight, I'm turning the other way, kind of attitude, and
or calling for help.
Or call for help instead of just standing there. Yeah, you have a cell phone, use it to call the police.
What can the church offer the parents?
The church needs to reformat itself as a center of the community. Yeah. And by doing that, we can't just say, oh, we're now the center of community, now you can just come on to us. There has to be a retooling here. I believe it was Otis Moss, we just heard today, that said, you can't be an 8-track church and try to perform to an MP3 community. Right. It's you have to reformat. It's all about, and also marketing. I think the church needs to get into the business of marketing, basically. That's all that reformatting is you're just changing it up because there's nothing new under the sun. And we basically need to show that not only is this programming that you need, but it's programming that you want to go to. It's programming that's not just entertaining, but also edifying. And I think that's where the church has a role to play right now, in every aspect of the life.
Okay.
And change is possible.
Yes.
That was Obama's big word, and this is Obama's home city. Do you still feel in the community that there is a sense of hope that we are having change with the first African-American president?
Well, first we need to be realistic with ourselves that change isn't going to happen within a year, and change isn't going to happen just because we have a black man at the helm. I'm pretty sure this is just my friend's quote. Yeah, he's black. He's in the White House. What does that do for me?
Right.
And so, whether you thought it would be an inspiration to change, it's actually more of just it's a day-to-day thing for them. So
and nothing's changed.
But I'm positive that it will change.
But the fact that he did make that office, he did become the president, I think it touched the hearts and minds of a lot of young people who maybe, left that fight, who turned away from that. We don't know.
That's true.
We're just seeing, these are just a few kids here, and there's a few places that we're having that. It's not the whole community. So I think that, that there is still hope for our community.
Thank you to Reverend FAIRLEY and to Jeremiah for being here with us today for this important discussion. I'm Polly Toner for Different Drummers. Keep the faith.